Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the conclusion. Another chilling session of the conclusion. So Commander, do press the like button, subscribe. And for those that are not subscribed, or maybe you're subscribed, check the subscription just to make sure that you're subscribed. And we are going for 100,000, so of course, help me, help you, help me. And we're going to, so this is the overall picture of the situation over in Ukraine war. And so I want to address the some of the Engels air base strike first. So this is some of the images being shared by the pro-Ukrainian side. So according to the pro-Ukrainian sources, they say that this air base over in Saratov is home to at least five bombers in over in the Russian side. Basically two or three 295 SM and two or three 2160 M2. So this is the two bombers that are that is actually based here. Basically there's only five bombers. The Russians have bomber fleet. I feel like is of course it's still pretty much one of the biggest in the world, but it doesn't feel like a lot. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's a different world anyway. So the explosion is massive. You can see the explosion being taken. This is a screenshot from a video, and then this is another one. It's a massive explosion. By the look of it, if it's something that was hit, basically in this facility, which is actually inside of the also over here. So this is where the facility is, and this is actually this one. This is actually this facility. So one of these warehouses is actually is actually where the target the target of the missile that was launched. So the tentative information is that the is a cruise missile, a totally new cruise missile. I can't remember the model of the cruise missile already. That was being used by the Ukrainians. So I would expect that this is going to be an air launched missile. Maybe it's launched from an F-16. That's a possibility. So, and also now just some updates regarding F-16 as well. The F-16 has been spotted flying over the Kursk front, near the Kursk front in the Sumy region. So the F-16 is already in operation in combat operation in support of frontline actions. So far, F-16 is a very nimble aircraft, so we will take a bit of time before I think we will see the first casualty of F-16, but so far not yet. So this is all these lines. If you're wondering, all these 2, 3, 1, all this is actually the geolocation. The geolocation of they actually crisscross from 3 different videos, if I'm not wrong, and they managed to pinpoint where the explosion more or less had happened. So basically, this is the situation. So this is a big explosion. The rumors, in case you didn't watch the SITREP, the situation report, because YouTube didn't push it very hard. So like, it's not even like 50,000 impressions at this moment because it's on the TPA War channel. I expect a lot of you guys may not have watched it. I'll just probably talk a bit, rehash a bit on this as well. I forgot what I want to say. Shit. What did I want to say? Oh, holy shit. What did I want to say? So the explosion, I talk about it in the strike on the Engels air base. I forgot. Okay, forget it. I forgot. Oh, yeah. So now you have to watch the SITREP now, so that you know what I want to talk about, but I forgot. Yeah. So that's the cruise missile. Oh yeah, I remember now. The rumor was that there's a new supply of weapons was delivered actually to this air base, probably for the bombers to launch a new sortie, and probably this was spotted, was noted by intelligence, most likely American intelligence, and it was given the permission to strike it, and then so that was actually noted by pro-Ukrainian open source intelligence, the OSINTs. So that's probably what attracted the strike. So this is also, if you look on a geopolitical scale, this could also be, one of the Trump's way to negotiate with Russia, to show that the Americans are way more on the ball right now, and then they would be able to deliver very effective strikes against the Russians if they do not come to agreement to the peace deal. So we shall see how this continue to play out. So some of the major actions in the Ukraine war, as you can see, there's a lot of red arrows all over the place. These are already all pre-drawn, so that it's easier to talk. Of course, the main action, one on the pro-Ukrainian side, again, as well, from the perspective, was most likely this attack. So far, the Ukrainians still is being reported to be fighting at Demidovka as well as a Preleste. But we do not have further updates after this frontline change. This one you've probably already seen this being reported already in my previous two sit reps. So fighting is still ongoing. The Ukrainians have not given up yet. And I just want to take note is that the Ukrainians still can potentially win. Not say win, but win tactically and break through out of this area here. It is possible. And then they can go on a safari if the Russians are not careful. So the Russians would have to send in reinforcement, as the Ukrainians are going to continue to ramp up their assault, the intensity of the fighting in this region here. We have seen something like this before in the cross-border attacks before. So it's not impossible that the Ukrainians will try to double down, triple down, four down, and after that, the Russian line just cannot take it anymore and then break. And so that is a possibility. I wouldn't say that is impossible. Otherwise, in terms of the Kursk front, the Russians continue to be fighting to retake the last four. Although the last report in the SITREP, which is yesterday's report, Guevo was not mentioned. This is actually interesting. So the other three was mentioned, like Gornau is over here. Sorry. So let me draw again. This is Gornau. So Guevo is not mentioned. Gornau was mentioned. Oleshnya is mentioned. Gogolevka is mentioned. Only Guevo is not mentioned. This is a bit weird. So we will see. We will just wait for more information. Maybe the latest SITREP being published by the Russians may have already said exists. I haven't mapped it yet. So but yeah, this is something could potentially mean that the Russians have some advance around here, but we're not sure. So let's see how this goes out. On the Sumy side, the Russians also continue to punch it into this region here. This is actually Basivka. Sorry, Basivka is here. So what the hell is that? I forgot. So let me check. I forgot what's the place called. Zuravka. Oh yeah, it's Zuravka. My bad. So this is still happening. So let's see whether the Russians will transit. Like even the Ukrainian media, they are wondering if the Kursk front will transit into a Sumy front. They are really worried about this. They are thinking about it. And a lot more and more information about the Kursk operation has been revealed in Ukrainian media, in Ukrainian. So the article is all entirely in Ukrainian. I've just read another one just now. And so far, even the troops on the ground was wondering, like, what's the point of the Kursk operation, and they are just waiting for the orders to retreat. And they attributed the main failure of the Kursk front, how the Russians managed to take back all these grounds, mainly from due to the rotation of the territorial defense to the flanks. The experienced troop was in the center, but the weaker troops are sent to the flanks, and then the flanks collapse, which is where we probably saw where we saw the Russians actually, attack, from the two flanks, and basically, there's a poor map. Let's use this one. So the Russians were attacking from these two sides, and then the lines just cracked, and so there's probably what they're referring to. Of course, there's also further up north. There's also fighting. So it's just a sad situation. And the interesting thing is that the Ukrainians themselves compared the Kursk operation to Krinky. I'm not sure if you remember Krinky. So Krinky is over here. So where the Ukrainian Marines just continue to stay in that one little village. Their operation, according to the article, was just to distract. That means the soldiers are just sent to die to distract the Russians from all the other front line. That's one hell of a horrible description of the operations. So yeah. And coming to the Russian actions, the Russians are still at the doing their Zaporizhzhia region offensive. As you can see, these are the three sectors. This is Zaporizhzhia. So Huaypole is here. This Huaypole, this Orikhiv, and this Kayamsky. And so these are three sectors. And the Russians continue to be fighting in this area here. Let me zoom, make sure you can see. So the Russians are pushing, are doing some limited attack on towards Malatomashka and towards Novodanilivka. So this is the distraction. This is the diversion. This side is the diversion to force the Ukrainians to thin out the defenses along the Kayamsky sector. While the main push is actually in this sector. This is the main push. The Russians are trying to attack the various regions. Lubkove, Stepove, Malashebaki, and Shebaki. So these are the main targets. And the aim, I believe, is to establish a front line around here. So this is what I think is currently happening. And the fighting continues. So we shall see, how this continue to play out. The other front line at Velika Novosilka, this has went a lot less intense. So this is not the focus right now. It seems from the Russians. Andriivka front, alone as well. It doesn't look like much is happening there. The front line looks pretty static. So you can see the front line is very, very intense. It's all along this area here, along the Lugansk, Donetsk region. So yeah, we have to stretch out in this way. Pokrovsk front. Pokrovsk also, not a lot of things really happened. The Russians are mainly, doing some push in this area. Maybe I should thicken the arrows a bit. But yeah, in this area. And then they are trying to push out similarly, and then in this area here. So there is a few actions. This area, Minokrat sector is a static line. This is a static line. So don't expect too much from this area here. So in the Pokrovsk sector, they are trying to push out from in the southern flank. They are trying to push westward. So northern flank, they are just trying to take Tarasivka. Mainly that. Nothing much about this. Torex front. The past 24 hours is a lot more quieter, or at least in terms of frontline change, is a lot quieter. The Russians are still pushing in multiple regions like Druzhba, Dashny, Krimsky, Torex. So they are still pushing this sector. So we shall continue to monitor. Bakhmut, nothing much to talk about except Minkivka. The fighting at Minkivka was still ongoing. So these are all the general directions all the fighting mainly are. Siversk front is mainly a bit more interesting. We have the Bilohorivka and the Volkomokanyamsky sector, as well as Ivano-Darivka sector. They are all actively being reported to have fighting. So, but I don't expect too much from it. So you can see this whole stretch. This is a very long stretch. It's all along the Oskil River. It stretches all the way from the border at Russia, moving all the way down. So this is the Voreshna front. It stretches down to the Kupiansk front, and then it stretches down to the Borova front, and then to the Lyman front, and then with the northern and the southern flank. and then it ends with the Stravinsky forestry. So and the Osk River ends here, around here. This is yeah, we didn't see the map, but that Osk is over there. So if I zoom out a bit, you probably can see, like, there's a few main directions. So there is a push. So I need to make the arrows thinner a bit. So there is a push across the river at Kayamka and the Voreshna front. The Russians are pushing southwest, over on the south of Voreshna. Ukrainians have taken a bit back, and then we have some actions in the Kupiansk front. The usual suspect, nothing really much to talk about it. So don't add that in. Borova front, we have the push south at what's the place called? I forgot. Zarizove. Yeah, Zarizove. I forgot Zarizove. And then there is this push in a push southwest in the direction towards the Lyman front already. There's a push outwards in the Ivanivka region, Nevsky region, and the fighting at Yampolivka. So this is a very, very long front. But generally, I think the thing to look out for is this one over at the Lyman front, to see how far the Russians can go. Also the bridgehead, whether the Ukrainians will be able to hold and push back the bridgehead, or the Russians will expand it, and to see the action at Voreshna, in the main southern flank of the Voreshna front, whether the Russians can push out. So some of these things, the rest, nothing really, the rest is all right. And there's one more thing I want to tell you regarding is this one. All this fanfare, a few weeks, this past 2-3 weeks, about the Europeans, getting more and more, muscular, because of the Americans don't want to do their part, or rather don't want to be so nice anymore to the Europeans, and Europeans say that no, don't worry, we will support Ukraine on their own. The 40 billion military aid proposal has basically become much smaller, so I can't zoom in this screen, but yeah. So it started off as a 40 billion military aid, and then it just drops down to just 5 billion ammunition fund. And even the 5 billion ammunition fund, according to Euromaidan press, which is the European press, Ukrainian press, is now in danger. So the European Union's effort to provide 5 billion euros in ammunition funding for Ukraine has been blocked by France and Italy. And this is according to European diplomats who knows about the closed door discussion. And so the Europeans wanting to replace US support for Kiev doesn't look very stable. The European Union clearly is not or united at all, and Zelensky is very unhappy and very very worried. Like he's now making urgent plea for funding to purchase ammunition as soon as possible. Referencing the massive drone strike by the Russians. It's crucial that your support for Ukraine doesn't decrease, but instead continues and grows. I find this also a bit worrying, also because for the Ukrainians, like, yes, maybe the ammunition military support could increase over time, and it should increase over time, given that the Europeans are continuing to build up more arms factories. But the Ukrainian population is going to reduce and decrease. The manpower issue is going to get worse and worse. So yeah, I'm not sure how long the Ukrainians can continue like this. And the last thing the Ukrainians left really to do is to really do forced mobilization, brutal forced mobilization, as if it's in a world war situation. And the Ukrainians is not exactly that yet. They are not really at that level yet. The young boys, 18 years old to 24, they basically can still go to school and party and whatnot. But But a worrying thing I think is that if the Ukraine continue to fight on, I think it's unavoidable that they will start to have to bring in the younger male population into the war. The 18-24, those that are easy to brainwash, good to train physically, are strong, healthy, recover fast. These are actually prime soldiers. If you look at World War II, these are the soldiers that are fighting on the front. Actually, most of them is between this age. It's between 16, 17, 18, all the way to 24. Yeah. So that's actually the age. So so let's see how this goes. So that is the main situation that's still happening in in the geopolitical scene. Anyway, just a conclusions. So this is a update to the previous. The previous conclusion. If you haven't watched, I do recommend you to watch it. I was using a different app. This is actually a graphic design app. So this is the Adobe Illustrator, which will allows me to paste a higher resolution stuff. So I can zoom in decently, because these are all screenshots. So there's only as so far you can go. But it's still much better than the previous app. There's some limitation in terms of graphical stuff. So yeah, and this I can have a lot more control. So anyway, hopefully this is interesting. I will continue to keep this updated for myself. I'm not sure whether I should share this or whatnot, but we shall see how this goes. These are just new experiments. I will see how this continue to play out. YouTube, I lost YouTube's favor again, so so YouTube don't want to push our videos again. So yeah, so anyway, so support me on the Patreon and YouTube membership, because because viewership is not high, revenue is not enough. So anyway, thank you for watching. Support if you want. If you don't, then I'll find other things to do. I'll see you guys in the next update.